Thanks for tuning in to the Wingspace podcast. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health treatment or professional health care. In case of crisis or emergency, please contact your local healthcare provider or dial 911.
Welcome to the Wingspace podcast, episode number 11. In today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about mindset and why having a positive mindset can impact your life in such positive ways, and how we have to be mindful about what our mindset is in order to be positive. Hey there, and welcome back to the Wingspace podcast. I'm going to talk to you today about mindset and mindfulness. Now, I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to go back to episode number 3, where I used the idea of eating a Hershey Kiss to really talk about what mindfulness is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why that's important with our mindset today. But if you haven't listened, make sure you jump back to that other episode. Our mindset is our belief system. It is how we sense the world. It's the lens through which we see the world. It's our perspective. It's our outlook on life. And it impacts us every single day. It impacts everything that we do, everything that we don't do. It's with us all the time and a constant force that is influencing us. Now, when I talk about mindset, I don't want you to think that I am encouraging you to just, think happy thoughts and everything's going to be okay, because I realize that it is normal to have some negative thoughts, and it is normal to have some realistic thoughts, which sometimes are not positive. But when we think more positive, proactive, encouraging thoughts, then the things that happen to us and our perception of those things are more positive. The reverse is true as well. When we have negative, self-defeating thoughts, then we tend to see the day as negative and discouraging. I want to give you a little bit of science research to help you understand the importance of this. So there was a Johns Hopkins study done. Now this is looking at medical outcomes, not necessarily mental health outcomes, but it's important to think how strong our mind-body connection is. So there was a study done by Johns Hopkins looking at people who had a history of heart disease. Those people that had a positive outlook and were encouraging to themselves kind of internally in their thought process, those people were 1/3 less likely to have cardiac arrest or some kind of significant heart situation than those people that had a more negative, less positive outlook. They also recognized that those people that had more risk factors, so they were more likely to have a heart attack, if they had a positive mindset, they were 13% less likely to have a heart attack than someone with potentially the same or lower risk factors that had a negative outlook. So if we have a positive outlook, it can influence the way that our physical body responds. That's really great news for our emotional health, our physical health, and our overall well-being. Again, I'm not asking you to, put a bow on a bad situation, but the way that we look at circumstances can certainly change the way that we kind of approach that situation. There's a couple of things that we can do, 3 as a matter of fact, that we can do in order to really be mindful. Mindful is that we're being intentional and we're being purposeful. We're aware and we're actively doing something in order to achieve an outcome, right? So we're going to be mindful of what our mindset is in order to have a more positive mindset, in order to change the outlook, change the lens through which we see the world. So the first thing that we can do is we can smile more. Now, we have these mirror neurons in our brain, which if somebody's smiling or laughing, we tend to smile or laugh. If someone's crying, we tend to cry. We kind of mirror the reactions and the emotions of someone in front of us. So certainly being in a crowd of people who are smiling and laughing and having a good time, we're more likely to smile and laugh and have a good time. But maybe you're kind of feeling down and you're not really having that positive of a day. Watch funny videos. Find something that just makes you laugh, watch it, and laugh. Watch a funny movie, watch funny videos on YouTube. If you have videos on your phone of like friends and family that make you laugh, just watch them. Here's another thing you can do, which is listen to somebody who is telling jokes. Dad jokes tend to be the absolute worst when it comes to jokes. They're so dumb that they're funny, and they just make you laugh. So here's a riddle for you. What is a snake's favorite subject in school? History. So silly, right? It makes you giggle a little bit, makes you smile. Why don't you want to give Elsa a balloon? Because she's just going to let it go. One more for you. Why shouldn't you trust trees? They seem a little shady. So 3 silly little jokes that I hope made you giggle a little bit and maybe smile. If those did not make you giggle or smile, then go find something that does. So we can change our mindset by smiling more often, by encouraging all the happy hormones, the endorphins, to kind of start tickling our brain and to help us to see things through a clearer, maybe a more positive lens. The second thing that you can do is you can practice reframing. So practice reframing is taking a situation and looking at it from a more positive perspective. So for instance, if you're looking around your house and it's an absolute disaster, then instead of saying, this house is a mess, you could say, man, this family of mine is so healthy and so happy that they are just so actively engaged in stuff that we didn't even have time. You know, the weekend was so busy, we were having so much fun, we didn't even have time to clean up. Or you can look at a sink full of dishes and be grateful that you have food to feed your family. Thinking about the reasons why we have the thing that we have and putting that positive spin on it. I'm stuck in traffic, and instead of being frustrated that I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to say that I'm grateful that I'm blessed to have a car and I'm blessed to have a job that I can drive to in order to support myself and my family. So reframing it. We can also look at things from a get to instead of have to perspective. So instead of I have to go to work, I get to go to work, right? When we think about getting to do something, it's like it's a privilege, it's a reward, it's something positive, whereas a have to is more of a chore. So the next time somebody says, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do this weekend? I have to do laundry. I get to do laundry, right? Because getting to do laundry means that you're blessed to have clothing and you're blessed to have a washer and a dryer and that you have a family who is active and they're changing clothes and they're involved in different sports and things. And so they're healthy and they're happy and they're active. I get to do laundry because some people don't get to do laundry because they don't have those same luxuries. So changing that have to a get to. And then the last thing is that you can build resiliency. Resiliency is a really big word, and some people think that some people are born resilient and other people are not. And really, resilience is something that we build over time based on the experiences around us. The very first thing you can do to build resiliency is to develop and continue to kind of nurture a good support system. I know some people say, I am my own support system. Who do you call if there's a problem? Nobody. But sometimes we have to think outside of the box. You have to think about if you see something funny or you watch a commercial that makes you laugh or something, and you pick up your phone to text a friend. Who is that friend that you text? Now, maybe that's not the person that you would automatically think of calling if your car breaks down, but they're the first person you call when you want to share something funny or something good that happened. So they're a part of your support system. You can think about if you were to receive an award of some kind, who are the people that you would invite? if you wanted to go out to lunch with a friend, who would you call and invite? So thinking about who that support system is and engaging in that support system. And engaging in your support system also means letting them know when things aren't going so well, and having them to encourage you to have a positive mindset, but also being mindful of who we have within our support system. Because if we have those negative Nellies who are always bringing us down because of their negative mindset, maybe we need to reconsider who we're going to bring into that social support system so that we're surrounding ourselves with people who are going to be positive and encouraging rather than negative and bringing us down. We can approach change head on. We know that change is something that is going to happen. Absolutely 100% it's going to happen. Things are going to change. The seasons change, our hair grows and it changes, our bodies change, we get older, things change. So instead of being super resistant and rigid and not wanting to accept change, we can approach change with this idea that it's going to happen. So how are we going to be prepared for it and embrace it, really? And one of the ways that we can embrace it is being proactive rather than reactive. So if we know that there's something stressful that's coming up the road, there's something on the calendar that's going to take a little bit of our time, or maybe a lot of our time and our energy, then be proactive. You may have heard me talk before about coping skills, and some coping skills are preventative. We're doing them all the time to kind of keep that healthy flow. And then we have others that are intervention that we use when we're in a stressful situation. So being proactive means I'm going to constantly reinforce this positive mindset. I'm going to think positively about the things that I get to do. I'm going to reframe. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to make sure I'm getting sleep. I'm going to make sure that I'm feeding and fueling my body so that my physical body system is in a positive state to engage in this stressful thing. And I'm going to be proactive. It's kind of like a batter at home plate, right? They're being proactive because they're getting in their stance and they're ready for the pitch. They're not just running onto the field and swinging and being reactive when the ball comes to them, right? They're proactive because they're getting ready for the pitch to engage that swing. And we sometimes are more reactive. We see things coming. We know that change is happening. We know that this stressful thing is down the road, and yet it's almost like we put blinders on to avoid it as long as we can until we have to react rather than seeing it and being prepared and being proactive. So really, I'm encouraging you today to think about what is a couple of things that you have been thinking that maybe are a little bit more negative in terms of mindset. What might you be able to turn around to a more positive, put a more positive spin on it? And from a proactive standpoint, I encourage you to go listen to a good comedian, go listen to some dad jokes, go watch a funny movie or a funny video, smile, and be ready for the change that's coming so that you can be proactive rather than reactive. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to message us on our socials. You can also email me, Jennifer@hopehealingtherapy.com. Hope you have a great day.